Very good. So welcome to Poundbury.
Thank you.
I always say this at the beginning whenever anybody comes in, but the sun's out. You brought the sunshine with you.
Perfect.
It was raining this morning.
I know it was. Same in Poole, to be honest.
Thank you very much. So for the benefit of the viewers and listeners, would you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Chief Exec of Poole Business Improvement District, and my name is Jacqui Rock.
Business Improvement District. Now there's a thing. So for the benefit of everybody, including me, can you give us a brief overview of what that looks like? That's the BID, right? As commonly referred to. Absolutely.
So there are around probably 350 bids across the UK.
Okay.
We predominantly sit between the local authority and town centres. The reason I say predominantly because there are some that sit between a local authority and, for example, a trading area, that kind of thing. So It just depends on what kind of bid it is. But we're always there to hopefully bring footfall to that area and positively affect the business's bottom line, who are ever within our district.
Correct.
That's predominantly what we do.
And so you said town centre. So is that always, you said not always, but in the circumstances where you are, is that retail specifically, or do you have others involved in that?
Yeah, so normally within the town centre you have service industry, retail and hospitality.
Okay.
Those are predominantly the businesses that we affect. So for Poole, for example, I don't know if you know Poole, but our district runs between the Lighthouse Theatre, through the bus station, through the Dolphin Shopping Centre, along the town centre and onto the quay. And within that district we have about 500 businesses that we support.
Crikey.
Yeah.
And how do the businesses participate? Do they pay a fee to be in the bid? What's the makeup?
They pay what's called a levy, and how it works is it's based on rateable value.
Yeah.
So depending on each of those businesses' rateable value within the town, currently they pay a 1.5% levy on top of that, and we obviously, BCB Council actually collect that on our behalf. So to give you that in real terms, if a business pays £5,000 on their rateable value, then they pay us £75 a year for 5 years.
Wow.
At which point we then go through a ballot process and they decide whether they still want us or not.
Very good. So what made you get involved with the bid? Why did that start?
Well, it was really interesting, actually. I got headhunted for the role.
Okay.
A really good friend of mine happened to become the chair of Poole BID in, I don't know actually when he became chair, but certainly he reached out to me in February 2021.
Okay.
And at the time, I was voluntarily on Bournemouth Chamber of Trade and Commerce, so I knew a lot about the high street, been on them there for a good 10 or 11 years.
Okay.
And they were looking for a new chief exec, and he reached out to me and said, "You'd be great for this." So I ended up doing that. We were about to go to ballot, and it was a very difficult time because businesses had just come out of lockdown.
Yeah, of course.
The outlook wasn't very favourable. As I said, we were just about to go to ballot.
Yeah.
The feeling was that we would lose, and therefore he said, even if it's to come in and go through the ballot process, get the decision and close the business down, it's an opportunity to do that. And I was just coming out of lockdown. I worked for myself in branding and marketing. All my clients had left me overnight. So I was starting to build my business back up again, and he said, why don't you run it alongside and then get some monthly income for the next 6 months until you close the business down. But in the end we actually won the ballot, so here I am 5 years later.
So when you say the ballot, so were you competing with others that were also competing for the bid? Is that the idea?
No, what it is, it's literally for the businesses to determine whether they still want a business improvement district in their town or not, because obviously they're the ones that pay the levy.
Yeah. So what a great acknowledgement of the effort and energy that's gone in, because you've just re-won the ballot, right?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So we're in the second lot of 5 years?
Well, actually, it's the third lot.
Oh, is it?
So for the first 5 years, there were 5 different bid managers, of which I was the 5th.
Okay.
So they didn't have a lot of consistency, which was another reason why I think they felt that they weren't too hopeful about winning the ballot.
Yeah, of course.
We were blessed with the fact that the businesses felt the need for a bid. And I'd like to think myself and the team, being consistent as well across the 5 years, have been able to create a foundation and something to work from. So that's what really we've been doing in the last 5 years. And now we've got to go again because, as you quite rightly said, we won the ballot in March.
Fantastic. It's another 5 years.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what have you learned during that time about what the high street, what the retailers and those service industries need from you?
Sure.
More than just, turning up and planting a flower pot or something else. What's the scope of it look like?
Yeah, you will find that in most business improvement districts, it usually covers 4 main projects.
Okay.
It will always cover, they want to feel safe.
Yeah.
They want to feel that the area to which we are responsible for is safer, not only safer, but cleaner and greener.
Okay.
If you get those 2 things right, then you find that people will naturally come. After that, it's more about the nice to have. So you're talking about PR, marketing events.
Okay.
And then probably less that we put into the pot is more about business support and helping the businesses.
Right.
It can range from they might want help with social media.
Yeah.
They might want us to be advocates for them. So
Okay.
I represent the Destination Management Board for BCP for Poole Town.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things we do. And we can look at the town as a whole and actually see what they need and shout on their behalf. Those are the types of things that predominantly happen with a bid.
Are you filling the gaps that the council can't fill?
Yes,
I don't mean
predominantly we
potholes,
are.
by the way.
We've got a number of those, haven't
Yes,
we?
absolutely.
That's predominantly it. So what we have is something called a baseline agreement. Well, we
Okay.
have a number of baseline agreements depending on what area it looks after. So in our case, BCP Council will create some baseline agreements, and it can range across all of those things. We also work with Dorset Police with a baseline agreement.
Okay.
So we've got a safety one with them. We've also got safety ones with BCP Council because they obviously support us with CCTV, that kind of thing.
Right, of course.
We'll have one with grounds maintenance and so on. And they list exactly what BCP Council are doing.
Yeah.
And then we look at that information
Yeah.
and then decide what we want to do over and above what the
Okay.
council are doing.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
And the logical thing to do, without wishing to take you out of a job, would be to take the 1.5% and do it within the council.
Possibly.
So why the external focus?
From my perspective, I would say that we all know that local authorities have lots of different departments.
Yeah.
And so a good example of that is, I remember a couple of years ago, I used to walk around with a representative of the council, and we used to look at all these different things that needed to be cleaned or painted or something like that.
Right.
And he was great because I'd say to him, well, those bollards need cleaning and the lamp posts need painting, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
2 different departments.
Oh, of course.
So what we bring to the situation is a lot more consistency.
Got it.
To allow them to paint, decorate, whatever they need to do,
Yeah.
all at the same time, rather
Okay.
than one year doing the lampposts and then the next year doing a bollard or something. So
Right.
I like to think that we oversee the town,
Got it.
whereas the local authority will really look at things on an individual basis.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned previously, also, we advocate for the town a lot as well.
Yeah.
We literally go to meetings and say, hey, Poole Town is here, kind of thing.
Right.
A force to be reckoned with, that kind of thing.
Yeah, quite right.
you know.
That's really fascinating, isn't it? I guess the safety is probably the one that we should talk about a little bit. So
Sure.
how do you enable safety in the town centre?
Well,
Lots of TV programmes these days showing all sorts of things going on in shops,
Yeah.
theft and so on and so forth. So how does that...
Yeah, I mean, it is a problem everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that predominantly antisocial behaviour and certainly shoplifting
Yeah.
are the 2 most important things for our businesses, but not just that. Our businesses and our staff and our visitors feeling vulnerable.
Yes.
Because I think more and more our shop staff predominantly, but also visitors are seeing people come in, shoplift and walk out
Yeah.
blatantly. It's a real problem.
It is.
And what we were finding was that our businesses were dialing 101 for the police, and the police are stretched. We all know that.
Yeah.
And if the phone call was answered, they never knew where that incident was going or being reported or whether
Yeah.
it was even resolved.
Of course.
Equally, when somebody phones 101, it was dealt with on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah.
So we felt if we brought a system in that enabled our businesses to not only be able to report much more easily,
Yeah.
but also get the feedback, which is really important,
Oh, okay.
which would encourage them to report more,
Yeah.
but make it a very straightforward system, something that wasn't cumbersome.
Okay.
That was our first point. So what we did was we bought in a system called Sentry.
Yeah.
The company that we sourced to deliver that for us is a company called UK Partners Against Crime.
Okay.
UK PAC for
Great
short.
name.
I know. They are actually based in Upton in Poole, so
Oh, are
a
they
bit
really?
of a rah-rah for Poole.
Well done.
And they are brilliant. So
Yeah,
they bought
yeah.
in the system. It's not actually their system. They also purchase it from Sentry themselves.
Yeah.
But they have manipulated it to kind of align with what we're looking for.
Okay.
And the beauty of UK PAC is they also triage the incidents. So if one of our businesses reports an incident that Joe Bloggs has completed on the high street,
Yeah.
and another business reports, and same person, Joe Bloggs, does the same
Okay.
thing, they're accumulating all of those incidents. The police also are on it, which is really important.
Okay.
We took a long time. I remember when I first started, it probably took 3 years in for us to actually get the system in from the day I started when I really wanted this system in.
Wow.
Because we had to sign data agreements with Dorset Police and so on.
Yeah, it's complex, isn't it? Yeah.
BCB
Yeah.
Council had to be on it. So
Yeah, cool.
we bought the system in. We brought in a business crime liaison officer to go around the town to sign businesses up, to explain what the system was and train businesses on it.
Okay.
And so it started slowly but surely getting those businesses onto it,
Yeah.
realising it's a great system for incident reporting and getting the information back. But the other thing it does, it has like a messenger type side to it.
Okay.
And because it's obviously GDPR to the hilt,
Yes, yes.
it's great for them to be able to communicate immediately
Okay.
to other businesses within the town,
Oh, right.
but also Poole neighbourhood policing team who are on it, to show that actually, you know, something's happening in the town,
That's
we
really
need
good.
help or whatever.
So does that run on a special device or on their mobile?
Any mobile device,
Oh,
any
really?
laptop, anything like that, which is obviously
Wow.
easy.
Yeah, yeah.
So our businesses have to sign up to it. You know,
Yeah.
you can't just join it and that's it. But
Yeah.
obviously, as part of the levy, all of our businesses within our district have a
Great.
complimentary service to go on it,
Wow.
which
What's
is
the
really
adoption
good.
rate? What's the adoption rate by businesses?
I would say we've probably got about 300 people on it within the town out of 500.
Crikey.
Yeah,
good
we're
going.
really happy. And we want more businesses, but what we probably find is most of the businesses that are on the ground floor go
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
It's less likely that
of course.
top floor or, you know, second or third floor that they'll go on it. But we
Yeah.
want all of our businesses to go on it because they are the ears and eyes of our town. And often you find that a business that's maybe on the second or third floor, it sounds awful, but might be seeing a drug swap on the
Yeah,
high
you just
street.
don't know, do you?
And they aren't vulnerable because they're away and they're just looking down onto
Very
the high
cool.
street. So
Yeah, yeah.
we want all of our businesses to go on it, but it's a bit more of an ask. But
Yeah.
what we were finding is our businesses were frustrated that there wasn't an immediate response.
Yes.
Because it was literally just reporting incidents. So last August, we brought in a security officer who patrols the town, which has proven like the icing on the cake, if you
Wow.
like, leading up to our ballot, which was obviously
Okay, so I
perfect
could report
timing.
an incident and the security officer would
running.
know and would come running. Really?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's worked really, really well. Obviously, he's got Poole BID all over him
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we want people to know that he is Poole BID,
Too
that he's
right.
not the local authority, that he's not something to do with the police, because it all comes back to our ballot again in another
course it
5
does.
years' time. You know, we want them to vote yes,
I love
because
that.
otherwise they will lose all of that opportunity. So, yeah, that's where we are.
That's very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, we're really happy with it. So
of all those things you've done since you came in, what are the biggest game change? That's obviously going to be a massive
that is probably
game
the
changer.
massive. Yeah, that is probably the best one. People love us for it,
Yeah.
and the security officer's retail trained too. So he goes into businesses, he tells them he's there. It's not just about, you know, incidents and grappling with offenders or anything like that. You know, he's very he's like our ambassador, so
Yeah.
it's really good. The second one I would say is we have a grounds maintenance machine that we call Dusty.
Okay.
Somebody said to her at a networking event I was at one day, you should call her, because she is a her, Dusty Spring Clean, which is brilliant because it actually describes her.
Right,
And what we were
right.
finding was that the council do all they can.
Yeah.
But over the years, they have stepped back more and more from what they can commit to. And now really they can only focus on their statutory responsibilities, which doesn't include planting, funnily enough.
Okay.
So you will find in Poole Town anyway, that we are the ones that support with the hanging baskets, the 3-tier pedestals. We have road closures in the area, so we have planters. And we're the ones that actually fill those and maintain them. So Dusty, with her operator Ian, waters all the plants, maintains them, cleans graffiti on private property, differently than the council, who can only affect public land.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So what that allows us to do, if somebody sprayed a business with graffiti, Dusty can come along and clean the graffiti off. So so Dusty is great. She's logoed up to the hilt too, along with Ian, the operator. So
quite right too.
Yeah, so that covers our two main what we call pillars, which is the safety element and the cleaning and the greening and that kind of thing. So whilst it took time, and actually we bought Dusty from a grant fund through the local authority via the government. So without a bid, you probably wouldn't have been able to get that grant funding to be able to buy her. However, the levy pays for Ian and his services every week. So that's kind of how we work it.
Got it. So 350 in the UK bids.
Ish, yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
So why doesn't everywhere have a bid?
I don't know the answer to that question, actually.
No. Just curious. I mean, you're doing such a great job.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fabulous to see that everywhere?
I wish there were. I wish there were more. But that's why we're able to support with Christmas and things like that.
Yeah.
In BCP, Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole, there are 2 bids in Bournemouth, one in Poole and one in Christchurch. 3 of them are the town centres. There's, as I said, there's 2 in Bournemouth. One is called Coastal Bid, and that looks after the coastal regions, Southbourne, Westbourne, that kind of thing, East Cliff and West Cliff. So there are opportunities to have them, because as I'm sure you're aware, BCP have a lot of little mini towns everywhere, and there is that opportunity to have that. But now obviously we've brought town councils in, so there is a question over whether there may be some support from town councils within the area. And as an example, Christchurch has had a town council for a while now, even before Christchurch Bid started. And Christchurch Bid and Christchurch Town Council work really closely together and try to implement projects within their remit that don't cross over, so that they obviously expand their opportunity as much as possible.
Of course. Love that.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Yeah.
And I had no idea.
Yes,
I've been
I know,
down
it's
here
good.
2.5 years. I know I met you a couple of years back, but I've never really focused on the bid or what it was able to do. So that's a tremendous story.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really good. And I think, like you, many other people don't know what BID does. Some people may not even know bids exist.
No.
Other people either don't know a bid exists and think everything that's in the high street is council driven.
Yeah, you would.
And if they don't know, or if they do know about a bid, often I will hear a lot of people say, "Can't bid pay for that."
Right.
But we've got to be very clear on it's what
On your
our
remit.
businesses want. We survey them a lot just to make sure, one, that we're doing what they want us to do,
Of course.
but 2, is there something in particular that we haven't done yet that they would like us to be involved in. But so far, so good.
Yeah, really good, really good. So I can imagine you're 15, 16, thinking about what you want to do as a career, and the bid was obviously on your target list, wasn't it?
No,
Clearly
not at all. I know.
So what was your thing when you were leaving school or looking in the big wide world? What did you want to do?
It was so funny. I was really good at art.
Okay.
And I thought art college or a bank. Bit diverse. And growing up, my family had a great childhood and everything like that, but not a lot of money, so I thought I'll go the money route.
So you went to the bank?
Started at Lloyds Bank Bournemouth, moved into Chase Manhattan, which has now become JP Morgan, and did that for 25 years.
Oh, crikey.
So did that for a long time, and then in about 2010 I kind of couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
I'm driven by what I love doing. Not so much by money's great, but not so much by that. And I felt I'd come to the end of my time with that, really. So then I did lots of different jobs, from business development manager in a radio station to Google tours to, utility warehouse, selling utilities.
Right, okay.
Lots of different things.
Varied, yeah.
Worked with Bournemouth Rugby as their partnership and marketing director. But I feel now doing what I do with Poole BID, because you have to have a lot of hats on. It's all culminated in me having the right skills to be able to do what I do now. So there was a reason for it. While I was going through the process, I was like, who am I? What am I doing? But it kind of makes sense now.
You found your thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Found your thing. And you mentioned you were doing marketing. Did you say graphic design and what have you prior to?
No, more social media,
social
that kind
media.
of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, as I hit lockdown, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Social media, PR, branding, that kind of thing.
Of
More to do with that. But first thing to go in lockdown. So
absolutely.
Tough time.
So if you look across the retailers in your area, where do you think the gaps are in what they are able to achieve? Because it's quite tough in retail, isn't it?
Yes.
Not least of which is theft and everything else that goes on.
Yeah.
But it's really tough getting footfall into the local shops these days. So are you helping to drive footfall? Events, I guess, is probably a big part of what you do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simon, you're absolutely right. It's so difficult for businesses at the moment. Business rates, national insurance, minimum wage increasing, which I absolutely understand why it should.
Yeah.
However, what that does is trigger for people that aren't on minimum wage to want a higher wage. And so it's tough on businesses at the moment. And then you've got the statutory sick pay having recently come in about 0 days. It feels like everything's against businesses in the town at the moment. They have to have a business on the high street where they can't just rely on footfall anymore. They have to be master of none, and spread their wings a lot. Collaboration is absolutely key. And what we try to do, is encourage, once you've got the people feeling less vulnerable and safer, and you've got the cleaner, greener happening, then you're right, it is about PR, marketing, events. So part of our budget also goes towards events. So over the past 4 years, we've worked really closely with BC Council, and we've been the headline sponsor for the Christmas that happens across the town. But we also do smaller events that can range from £500 to, we've got a music festival starting where we paid a little bit more money because it's established in Poole. We're hoping it carries on for a number of years, because our feeling is if you're going to bring an event to the town, it's got to not just be a one-off. We want it to really flourish.
Work doesn't really well, doesn't it?
And another thing that happened was BCP Council were very supportive of bike night, car night, which is the foundation of the key events. And also there was, trying to think of the other few, so we do sound, there's a music one, and a mini steam on the quay, and folk on the quay as well. They are the staples that have been in the town for a long, long time. The council stepped away.
Oh, did they?
Because they couldn't afford to do it over the last few years.
Right.
And so we were blessed with having businesses in the town that really wanted to keep them. So a couple of our businesses, owners, one was Michelle, who runs the Poole Arms, and another Anna, who used to run the Lord Nelson. She's now left, but she's still local with another pub. And they decided to take the lead. They now have set up a CIC and run all of those events. And over the past 3 years, we've actually funded part of it. And our strategy for running and paying for some of the events is we seed fund. So we seed fund for 3 years. And then after the third year, we like to think that they step away from us so that we can invest the money we were investing in them into something else. So
there's some momentum in that business after 3 years, or in that event after 3 years.
Exactly. And equally, we want to be able to put events not just on the quay, which is obviously the drawing, it draws people to the quay, but we're trying to say no, it needs to be, we have responsibility across the whole town, so we need to try and work out ways. So in August, for example, we got line dancing in Falkland Square, which will be great, because we have a business, Lavender Moon, that are a cowboy shop. Cowboy boots, cowboy hats. Perfect.
Love it.
Lots of different things. We want Poole Town to be buzzing, and it obviously naturally brings footfall to the area. So,
of course it does.
And because the bid, once we set our budget, So we're about to go into our 5th year, which will be our next term for 5 years, which starts on the 1st of July. We get the same amount of money every year for 5 years. So we have to look at ways of maximising our budget by the 5th year so we don't run out of money.
Yeah, of course. And what does it look like? So obviously I'm a grockle still. You've been here a couple of years.
I'm glad you know the word grockle. A lot of people don't.
We've been using it just lately because we feel like we're part of the community now. But obviously the winter time is particularly tough, isn't it? Because you haven't got all of those other grockles turning up and mobbing Poole town centre and the quay and the beaches in Bournemouth and what have you. So how do you help to balance between winter and summer in a town centre? Because it's tough in the summer, it's going to be twice as tough in the winter.
Yeah, and I'd say predominantly the quay businesses really suffer in the winter because it's barren.
Yes.
So how Poole Town works currently is that in the summer months we close the quay in Old Town to traffic from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. and then we reopen it again all the time in October through to April.
Okay.
So what that does hopefully encourages more footfall because people can drive up to the business in the winter.
Of course,
But we are very aware that the key businesses suffer more in the winter because they are open to the elements. So hopefully that helps them. We do have a couple of events that happen then. So we have something on New Year's Day called the bathtub race.
Okay.
But preceding that from middle of November through to Christmas and after, we always have festive season. So hopefully that encourages more footfall. But the idea being that all the events that I've already mentioned that Michelle and Anna run, there are others as well, generate enough income to sort of see them through the winter months. The rest of retail, what I find in Poole is it's very much a residential town. You've got a lot of residents that live within the town and just on the outskirts. So we benefit from that because it's their local town. There are some towns in BCP that don't benefit from that. So whilst I get your point, visitors maybe less, it still does flourish because there's that footfall most of the year, if not all year really. Yeah, if you're a local, then you've got to shop local, aren't you? Particularly if it's bereft of lots of other people, holiday makers making a nuisance of themselves, spending lots of money. I know. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. Yeah, I think the whole coastal lifestyle we've seen is totally different to, obviously I was up in Hertfordshire prior to this, so you see a totally different outlook, I guess. And that seasonality of businesses is always a problem for every business, no matter where I'm coaching. But down here, it's clearly a much bigger problem in the winter. So do you see much in the way of diversity in businesses? Are they able to change their hats during the winter? You could almost do with a winter business and a summer business, couldn't you? Yeah, I agree. I mean, what I'll always suggest to businesses is just don't rest on your laurels and expect footfall to walk past. You've got to be much more thoughtful about how you're going to run your business. I have seen businesses in the town, even before I started at the BID, where their friends have said, oh, you'd be great running a business offering this product. But what they forget about is cash flow, budgets, marketing and all that. And if you're a one-man band, that's a lot of ask, really and trying to run your business as well. So we always try and say, maximise your opportunities. You could have a salon in the town next door to somebody that sells trinkets. So why don't you offer selling the trinkets in your shop and getting some of the profits from that? It's all to do with that. We run a market in Poole, so hopefully that also brings people into the town. That said, we've got to be very careful not to conflict. Yes, of course. So what we don't want is to have a market that sells ice cream outside an ice cream shop. And fall away from somewhere else. Exactly. It's a fine balance, isn't it? We're really, really focused on not doing that. And because unlike, say, for example, Bournemouth, which has like a park or something like that where people can go to, we don't have that. Any event that happens is right in the centre of town. So we need to be very mindful that it's not conflicting with the businesses that are there all year round. Got it. So I'm the owner of a very smart magic wand. Okay. So if I handed you the magic wand and said you could have anything you wanted for the BID or for the business, what would you do? What would I say? That's a really interesting question. It's a really difficult question, I know. I'd probably say, oh gosh, if we could get rid of the incidents, the shoplifting and the antisocial behaviour. It's so unnecessary, but it is it is what's happening in the light, in the world at the moment.
Yes, said
and
everywhere, yeah.
I'm very conscious that incidents that sometimes happen with people that have fallen on bad times. It's not necessarily career criminals and things like that.
Yeah,
so
good point,
it's really key that we get the right agencies in to support that. And I have a monthly antisocial behaviour meeting with BCB Council and the police, and we talk about people, the things, and it's very interesting because you know the names of these people, you know what their family is like, and they may have fallen on hard times. It's a difficult situation to be in. I think that really, if we could make communities support each other a little bit more, that would solve a lot of problems, I think. I think that would be what I would put my magic wand over.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, community is something that I think we certainly see coming back in lots of areas, isn't it? That ability to help your neighbour or have a conversation or whatever. It's been missing for a long time.
Yeah.
But and I kind of link. So I was talking to a farmer earlier on. I think when you arrived, and part of what he was talking about was how do we get people to recognise that if you buy my beans or my tomatoes or my peas or whatever else it might be, that you're doing the world and the country and the locality a much bigger favour than you are going to Tesco's to buy the same thing.
Yeah.
How do you get that mentality out? It's part of community as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
how many businesses? And I don't know the answer to this, by the way. I'm asking because I've got a mental block. If you went, butchers, fishmongers, greengrocers, the more traditional businesses, is there much of that in Poole Town Centre?
Sadly, all of those ones you've mentioned, not so much. Having said that, they are on the market, but obviously the market's only there certain days a week.
Of course, yeah.
We are about to open a deli and, oh my gosh, what's she calling it? A deli and produce
nice.
Business, which has been there for a long time.
Okay.
In Old Town, it was called Dibbons. It's been there a long time. The daughter's taken it over, and she's about to open on the 19th of June. So we're really excited about that.
Love a deli.
But that's what we need. We need to go back to the basics and getting businesses in like that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we also do that we probably don't shout about so much, we do a marketable database for our vacant properties.
Okay.
And when we hear or see a business that might want to come into Southwest or something like that, I'll reach out to them and say, these are the type of businesses we've got, this is the unit size, this is the type of unit that it wants to be used for, to try and encourage them to fill the space.
Of course,
That said, sounds awful, but obviously every town has a vacant.
Sure.
We're blessed with the fact that ours is about 8.5% at the moment, which is really good.
Okay, that's excellent.
I think the national average is about 21%. So we are blessed with that, but we still love it to be zero. So if we could fill it up with the bakers, the greengrocers, that type of thing, perfect. Because I think that's what it misses. You usually find that urban towns have more of that. So I live in Southbourne, for example, and obviously it has a butcher's and all that kind of thing. But I'd love Poole Town to have that because I think it would do really well.
So if I gave you that magic wand back, what would you do?
I still think I go for safety. I think I would, because I think that's the be-all and end-all. Because if you haven't got your safety under control, then people are going to not come. And we don't want them to not come.
The bottom level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Safety.
Yes, absolutely.
Really interesting. I had no idea. I think there's a massive message in here, isn't there? Which is we want more people in Poole Town Centre. We want more retailers in Poole Town Centre. Specifically the ones that I mentioned, because they're all my favourites.
Yes, please.
My family were bakers for years, interestingly. And so there's definitely some more of that required, isn't there? And I guess funding is the other thing, isn't it? So you're taking a percentage from all of the people in the local town centre, but are there other opportunities for people to contribute to help?
Yeah, well, funnily enough, actually. So we are able to also source grant funding. Okay. And the way that we try to extend the budget that we have is by doing a lot of collaboration. So as an example of that, I haven't mentioned this yet. I don't know if you've been to Poole recently, but...
I was there on Friday. On the quay, in the Hotel de Van.
Right answer. At the other end of town, though, between the Lighthouse Theatre and the bus station, there's an underpass.
Okay.
And so we were able to source a grant fund to be able to create the mural that goes into the underpass.
Okay.
And it's basically a history of Poole. It's got Harry Pay there, who was a pirate. It's got images of Poole Park, lots of different things.
Right.
And what that has created is enables our visitors to actually use the underpass, where previously they wouldn't, because it wasn't really lit and it was a cold, dark, dingy place to go. Now it's encouraging them to walk in the underpass.
Love it.
And obviously, hopefully, also connect the Lighthouse Theatre with the rest of the town. Because obviously that road does distance it. So that works really well for them. But funding, so we will always try and get funding via grants and so on. But the other way that I look to stretch the funding is to collaborate a lot. So we did another mural more towards the centre of town, and we worked with Beastly Council and Heritage Action Zone, who were in the town at the time, to try to stretch that money. We did another one at the train station, because we're linked with the train station, and we worked with the Dolphin Centre and Legal & General, who own the Dolphin Centre, to fund that. So those are the types of things we do to be able to, like I said, stretch that funding so that we can make it last for 5 years.
Very good. You've got a brilliant working space in the Dolphin, haven't you?
Yes, Gather. Is that what you mean?
No, it's another one, isn't it?
No.
No, maybe it is Gather.
Oh, Foundry.
Oh, the Foundry.
That's right.
The Foundry.
Yes, amazing.
I understand they're also expanding now within that centre, is that right?
I'm not sure if they are. I keep hearing mixed messages, I must say, so I'm not quite sure, but it's an amazing space. And Adam, who started them all, he's gone all over the country now, and he's opened at least 4 or 5 more now.
Oh, has he really?
I think.
I didn't know that.
It's a really good working model, because not only does he create the Foundry, which is a workspace for entrepreneurs to either have an office or have a desk or whatever they want to do, they work really closely with Barclays Eagle Labs, who are the people that bring in lots of events and so on.
Of course they do,
so I've got one in a couple of weeks, I think. We call it Breakfast with the BID, and we just bring different people in to present and so on. Excellent. So but it's worked really well, because it's a real collaborative
well, that's community
space.
Again, isn't it? The word
Absolutely.
you've used a couple of times.
It's they have done wonders, and Emma, who runs it now, has done amazingly well with that. But also the Dolphin Centre and Legal General did really well, because it was a massive space. And what do you do with a massive space, And Adam works really closely with the Legal & General, who have a number of shopping centres that they look after. And he kind of goes round the UK filling spaces with Foundry. And what that does is brings in footfall, because these entrepreneurs would ordinarily work from home, or certainly not a town centre. So it brings them in.
They're out nipping for lunch or whatever else it might be. It's a great idea, isn't it? Yeah, really good. Really good uses for shopping centres. Again, all of whom are suffering at the moment, aren't they? With the economy being what it is, and so on and so
absolutely,
forth. Amazing.
Absolutely. So
amazing. What a brilliant story.
Thank you.
So we always talk about George, my favourite client, George, who's just over the road there.
Okay.
Just about to start his new business. Hasn't really got a clue what he's doing. What would you tell him to do?
Oh my gosh, I'd say definitely if he was going to go and open a pub somewhere, go in the pub day, night, work out what it looks like, who the clientele are, whether there's a lot of clientele. I would look at your product offering, work out whether there is competition in the town. I'd find a unique selling point, definitely. Even if you are, I don't know, I won't want to say a butcher because we haven't got one yet. If you're a coffee shop, for example, you can have a coffee shop and they're all the same and all that kind of thing in terms of a product offering. But actually they're not. You could... I don't know, run events at festivals or something like that. You just something else. Don't just rely on footfall and do one thing. You have to be master of all trades now, and really maximise your opportunity. But also look at your budgets. Work out what the business rates are, what the lease is, how much it is. And if it is a coffee shop, how many coffees you need to sell to be able to break even and make a profit. Really important to do all those sort of things. Don't just hope that because your friends say, you make great coffee.
It's a great idea. It's
really important to do your homework because with with everything coming out of government at the moment, I've already mentioned it, national insurance, minimum wage, business rates, you just do not know what is around the corner, and it's a struggle for people at the moment. So just be really sure on what you're doing.
Love that. George listens to every podcast we do, so he'll be thankful for that advice, I'm sure.
You're welcome, George.
Been a pleasure. Lovely to see you.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
Simon.
very much for coming over.
You're welcome, and it's been great to see you again.
Super, take care.
Thank you.